Viewers, welcome to this literary analysis of Shakespeare's famous comedy, Twelfth Night. I have already posted a video where you will get the plot of Twelfth Night. I'm not going to talk about the plot here. In the literary analysis, first let us talk about the title of this play. The title is Twelfth Night. Twelfth Night during the Elizabethan times was the day 12 of after Christmas, where there were many pageants, there were enjoyment, singing and dancing, etc. So this play, a comedy, reminds us of that kind of pageantry. Also, there is a subtitle to this play, and that subtitle is What You Will. What you will implies you can do whatever you want. The best part of this play is that there is no older generation here. All of them are youngsters. And love is the main theme here. Because it is a comedy, in Shakespeare's comedies we find that it all ends in marriages. So there are 3 marriages here, where of course Maria and Sir Toby we need not speak much because that's only a subplot. But there is Orsino and Viola, Olivia and Sebastian. So their marriage and their happily ever after is what makes it comedy. Of course, there are many comic scenes right from the beginning. For instance, Orsino, who is a nobleman, is only interested in whiling away his time because he says he's in love with Olivia. And he doesn't want to do anything. He says, play music. If music be the food of love, play on. He says he wants to have a surfeit of music because he says his love has a taste for music. And then if you keep feeding it, he says it will sicken and die. Then of course he will not have it. Why does he do this? Because what you will, look at the title. What you will. He wants to do whatever he wants to do. Olivia, whom he loves, is not willing to meet him also. Again, what you will. She says she's mourning for her dead brother and she cannot see anybody. She doesn't want to see any man. But when Viola goes disguised as Cesario, she sees him and she falls in love with him also. But Viola is a girl. It is only a disguise. Therefore, again you see what you will. In every character, you find this. Viola, dressed as a boy, goes to work for Orsino, but she falls in love with Orsino. What you will. Sebastian comes somewhere in the middle of the play, doesn't know Olivia at all, but when Olivia says, let's get married, he agrees and he gets married to her. He's a little puzzled, but he does. Again, you see what you will. Maria and Sir Toby play jokes on Sir Andrew and Malvolio. What you will. So at every point you find that the subtitle is justified. Twelfth Night is the main title and What You Will is the subtitle. Now let us move on to the next point. As I told you, plot and division of acts and scenes, 5 acts and scenes, that you will have to do when you are reading the play. I'm only giving you a literary analysis. And the basic plot you can find in the previous video on Twelfth Night, which was mainly for language learners, not necessarily only for literature students. Now we move on to themes. One of the major themes in the play is love and music. Love and music. In mourning, Olivia doesn't want music, but she hasn't given up the feeling of love. Orsino thinks that love and music can be equated together. Music is the food on which love grows. So if you feed music to love, then it grows and it sickens and it dies. This is the kind of thing the play begins with. Love is a self-deception in some cases, because Orsino says throughout that he loves Olivia, but in the end, when Viola says that she loves him, he is willing to love her and get married to her because he realizes that he loves her. So you can imagine how very important the concept of love as self-deception is. Love is only attraction for unknown things or unknown persons. This is Olivia's love for Cesario, who's Viola in disguise. She is not able to see that this is a girl. Viola says, I will never be able to marry a woman. But Olivia does not understand. Therefore, love here is only on physical appearance. It is not because you know a person that you love. Since Sebastian is Viola's twin and looks exactly like her, when she is disguised as a man, she looks like Sebastian. And therefore, when Sebastian comes, Olivia mistakes Sebastian for Cesario and marries him. But they are happy. Sebastian has no problem. He doesn't say, I don't know you, I don't love you. Love is something which can grow. Love is something which can come later. All these definitions of love form a very important theme in the play. Then, of course, you have the theme of sorrow. The entire behavior of Olivia is because she is mourning for her dead brother. Now see a parallel. Olivia's brother is dead and she says, I don't want to see the sun. I don't want to come out in daylight because in darkness I want to sorrow. But Viola has really lost her brother. She doesn't know where the brother is. After the shipwreck, the brother and sister are separated. Viola assumes that Sebastian is drowned in the sea and she's alone. Therefore, she has to earn her livelihood. And that is why she takes up a job. So she should be mourning for the brother, but she's extremely practical. She says that I feel terrible, and a twin, they have a special closeness if they are twins. The twin is lost. She feels very sad, but she doesn't indulge in this sorrow. She doesn't give in to this sorrow. Instead, she overcomes her sorrow, she keeps it aside, and she, takes up life. She continues living. Olivia withdraws from life. She says, I want to have nothing to do with life. Therefore, people are trying to cheer her up. Everybody around, like Sir Andrew and Malvolio, all of them fall in love with her. And she says that, she doesn't want any of these people. Orsino is a good man, but Sir Andrew and Malvolio are not nice people. Still, she has no way of differentiating between them because her sorrow has clouded her brain. She's not able to think. And that is where the problem comes. Now, look at Orsino's sorrow. The play begins where he is very, very melancholy. He's very sad because he has unrequited love. His love is not returned by Olivia. Therefore, he says, I want to go on playing music, listening to music, so that my love sickens and dies. The appetite goes away. I feel a surfeit. This idea of sorrow is a different one. There it is the brothers who create the sorrow. Here it is an imaginary emotional deprivation that creates the sorrow. So this is what we find when we are talking in terms of sorrow as a theme. Then you have the theme of survival. Theme of survival, we should begin with Viola. Viola, after the shipwreck, tells the captain that I'm sure my brother has drowned. And the captain says, don't worry, I think I saw him tying himself to a nice thick piece of wood. The wood will carry him to the shore and he will certainly survive. The captain is proved correct because we find that Sebastian comes and he comes with his friend Antonio. Therefore, we find that the concept of the shipwreck or the concept of survival is there. Olivia's brother is actually dead, but life goes on. We cannot help living even if people around us are passing away. That is how life goes on. So Olivia refuses this. She has a lot of wealth. She has a lot of beauty. She has youth. She has everything that is necessary. But she withdraws from life. She says, I don't want to live. And Viola instead says that let me go and work. First she says she wants to work for Olivia because it's a girl. She can easily go as a girl. She doesn't have to disguise herself. But the captain says that's not possible because Olivia is in mourning. She will not see anybody. She refuses to come out. Therefore, the only choice you have is Orsino. Viola's survival instinct is such that she is willing to change herself into the masculine disguise in order to work for Orsino. And that is what she does. Almost the entire play till the end where she reveals herself, she disguises herself as a young man. And that is the theme of survival here, where both Olivia and Orsino are giving up on life. They're saying, okay, we can withdraw from active living. Viola, who has every reason to withdraw, she should be depressed because of the shipwreck, doesn't do that. Instead, she bounces back. She comes up again. These are some of the important themes. Now, while we were discussing the themes, you must have seen how character is also revealed. Most of Shakespeare's plays are considered to be women-centric plays, especially the comedies. The tragedies are all about tragic heroes, the men, but the comedies have women as central focus. In this play, Viola is the most important character. She's a very strong character and the play is completely women-centric because it's Viola and Olivia, two different types of women who dominate the play. Sebastian is hardly there because he appears only on a few occasions. Then you have Orsino, who is very weak. He's not at all like a very important protagonist. He's there in the play. He's the nobleman. He's the person with whom the play starts. But it is the women who dominate the play. So in the character of Viola, you find that she has the right values. She has the right emotions. She has the right skills. As I told you in survival, she has the survival skill. She has the problem-solving skill. If not Olivia, I have to work for Orsino. Problem-solving, decision-making skill. She has the ability to communicate so well that Orsino says, you must go as my messenger to talk to Olivia about my love. You will be able to convince Olivia that I love her. This, Viola disguised as Cesario goes there and she speaks so well that Olivia falls in love with her. So you can imagine how good her communication is. She is a very pleasant person. She is a very strong-minded person. And she feels that she has great affection for her employer, that is Orsino, but she doesn't say it. She doesn't try to, cut corners by saying, because I love him, I don't want to give his message of love to Olivia. She's very honest. Although she loves Orsino, she goes on behalf of Orsino and tries to woo Olivia. So you can imagine what a strong character she has. Now we have exact opposite. We call this as foil. In literature or in drama especially, you have foils of each character. So Olivia is a foil for Viola. Where Viola is very strong, Olivia is extremely emotional. Where Viola is very practical, Olivia is totally impractical. Where Viola, who belongs to an aristocratic family, becomes totally poor after the shipwreck, Olivia is very rich. And both of them are the two people around whom the play revolves. But Olivia's only, her emotion, etc., is only a mask. In reality, she is different because she falls in love with this young man, unknown young man. And then when Sebastian comes, she takes the plunge and gets married quickly to Sebastian. Before he can say anything, they are married. So you can imagine that she has practical streak in herself. She has the abilities in herself. And she has a lot of power because of her money and position. But she doesn't want to use any of this till she wants something, as you will, as I told you, what you will. So that willingness, that willfulness, all these are there in Olivia's character. Orsino and Sebastian are not very important characters, but there also you can speak a little. Now let us talk about the symbols. The play has many symbols. You can talk about most of them. I will only take a couple of them. One of them is the shipwreck. The shipwreck is a symbol of how the play progresses. Because of the shipwreck, Viola comes to Illyria. The setting of the play is Illyria. Illyria was not a real place, but there was something in ancient times which was Illyrium. Shakespeare takes it from there. So Viola's coming to Illyria, experiencing all what she experiences here, meeting Orsino, her future husband, meeting Olivia, getting her twin back again. All this happens because of the shipwreck. The shipwreck is a symbol of the challenges of life. Life often gives you challenges. Life often gives you difficulties. One has to be very strong to overcome these challenges. The more you are able to face the challenge, the more you're going to defeat the difficulties, the problems. There you become victorious. There you win the battle of living. And this is what the shipwreck symbolizes. We also have another symbol, and that is Olivia's gifts to Viola. Olivia does not give Viola or Cesario the gift directly. He leaves. She sends a servant by saying, "Run after him and tell him he has forgotten this." He has not forgotten anything. He or she disguised as he. Nothing is forgotten. She wants to give gifts to Viola disguised as Cesario in order to show that she loves him, that she has a partiality for this person. Viola is surprised. Viola does not understand the first time what is happening. But later she understands because she is very intelligent. She knows that Olivia is trying to give silent, tokens of love. But she cannot accept them because only she knows that she is a girl. She is disguised. Now we come to the dramatic device. The word disguise, I've used it so many times. A very significant dramatic device in many of Shakespeare's comedies is disguise, that is, hiding your identity. Usually, I'll do As You Like It sometime later. I will tell you again, where Rosalind becomes a, young man. She's a girl, but she pretends throughout the play to be a young man. One of the reasons for this, of course, was that in Shakespeare's theatre, women were not allowed to take part. It was only men who were taking part. So all the roles of women were taken by young boys. So a young boy reverts back to, being a boy was very comfortable. That is one. Also, the concept of disguising, of hiding your identity was very popular with the audience. So we call it as a dramatic device. Viola, we know, is a girl, but throughout the play we don't meet Viola the girl except at the sea coast, where after the shipwreck she's talking to the captain and trying to take his help. Therefore, we have this as a powerful dramatic device which deceives Orsino. Orsino does not realize Viola is a girl. It deceives, Olivia, because she also doesn't realize. And Viola gets into real trouble because Sir Andrew challenges her to a battle. He says that both of us love the same person, or I love Olivia and Olivia loves you, so let us find out who's stronger, who will win Olivia. Viola gets worried because as a girl she will not have the strength or the skill to fight with Sir Andrew, who is a known knight. He's very strong. It is luck, again a dramatic device, called coincidence, where Viola is supposed to come for the fight. At that moment, Sebastian arrives here. Everybody thinks Sebastian is Viola in disguise, and Sebastian fights very well because he's a young man, he's well versed in fighting, and then the whole thing ends happily. Viola doesn't have to engage in this, battle of swords. These are important dramatic devices which carry the play forward. And as I told you, at the end, all the marriages are very important for the comedy to end. So the comedy ends happily ever after, where Orsino says he also loves Viola when he hears that Viola loves him and she's a girl. Then Sebastian is very happy because already he feels that he loves Olivia. Olivia exchanges Cesario for Sebastian. She's very happy. No problem at all. So in this way, the play ends. Twelfth Night, or What You Will. Thank you and all the best.